Hello, Betty Boop. How are you doing, sweetheart? Hey, Boop
Hello.
Mama. How are y'all doing? Well, we'll be talking about two Chads tonight, Betty. Chad Doerman and Chad Daybell tonight.
You don't want to be named Chad and have your last name start with a D lately. Apparently, it's a bad thing to
Yeah,
have
both of them are in the
to have
bad
children around
spot.
people like that.
Yeah, don't have children around no Chads lately. It's not good. Charge it up. He's gonna bring me his phone in here and tell me to charge it up.
Who?
Landon. He thinks he's bossy, ain't he, Betty?
Well,
He'll
he is.
bring his cell phone in here and tell me to charge it up. You
Well, I
better
got one coming in here and telling me stuff. What do you
charge
want?
it.
What do you want?
Where's
What's your
Pocket
best?
singing at tonight? She's the one who said Tuesdays and Thursdays a true crime. She needs to be
I
showing
know
up
she
for this
wanted us
true
to do it
crime.
every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah. Hey, Mark. How you
Hey,
doing,
Mark.
Mark? Marky Mark's here. Good to see you, Mark. I told her we'll be talking about two Chads tonight. Chad Doerman and Chad Daybell tonight.
He's not a Chad, so he's safe.
Yeah, you're safe. You're not. Your name ain't Chad, so you're safe, Mark. Pocket needs bail money, probably. Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it, Mark.
Uh-oh.
She always getting herself into trouble, probably.
What's she do now?
Pocket's funny. She's always funny. Well, I guess we can go ahead and start. I can go ahead and start on the Chad Doerman case. In
I don't know
Claremont,
if I even heard about it. I don't know.
Chad Doerman, he's the one that killed his three sons out in the front yard, that shot them down in the front yard in front of his wife and stuff. Y'all know who I'm talking about, the Chad Doerman case? You might know, Betty.
Mm-mm.
You might have heard about it, Mark. He shot his three sons in the front
I think
yard.
wasn't that one in Missouri?
It's in Claremont County, Ohio.
Oh, Ohio. Okay, there's been a lot of stuff all over lately with shooting kids. It's bad.
Well, evidently in Claremont County, Ohio, a judge has agreed to throw out the alleged murder confession of an Ohio father accused of killing his three sons. On Friday, Claremont County Judge Richard P. Ferentz ruled that authorities violated Chad Doerman's rights twice during their investigation. As a result, prosecutors cannot use any recordings from his interrogation. So they're throwing out his interrogation, basically. The ruling obtained by Court TV states that Doerman's rights were violated when a detective failed to properly and fully advise him of his Miranda rights. The ruling also says his rights were violated a second time when detectives failed to end the interrogation after Doerman unequivocally and
He asked for an attorney. He basically said, "I
okay.
want my right to an attorney." He asked for counsel.
Doerman is facing nearly 24 charges in the June 15, 2023 murders of his three sons. He is charged with 9 counts of aggravated murder, 8 counts of kidnapping, and 4 counts of felony assault in the death of 4-year-old Hunter, 7-year-old Clayton,
Oh, it's
and
horrible.
3-year-old Chase.
It's horrible, Betty.
And Doerman pleaded not guilty to the charges in January. His defense filed a motion to suppress his conference. Claiming deputies in the Claremont County Sheriff's Office ignored Doerman's request for a lawyer and interrogated him for 3 hours anyway, reported the news reported. So they interrogated him without even reading his Miranda rights?
I
Is that
think
what they're
they
saying?
did part of it, but they might not have completed it, and he started talking or something. But the thing is the a confession in a lot of cases, while it's nice, it's not everything. When there is ballistic evidence, when there is all kinds of other evidence,
He ain't got no chance in hell to get
you don't
off.
have chance. I mean, getting the confession thrown out, okay, that might have been the cherry on top, but they got everything else.
Yeah.
So, and the judge did side with the prosecution on four key issues, and I can't remember what, I couldn't find what they were, but just not having a confession and not having the interrogation. I mean, I don't think he was acting like he was crazy like Letitia Stout was, so it's not like we're trying to prove that this was an act kind of thing. It's more, it would have been something nice to have, but we can go ahead with the trial without it.
Yeah. He ain't got no chance in hell right now. As much evidence as they got against him.
They
They
have
caught him
so much
outside with.
evidence.
Yeah, they caught him outside with the rifle with his in his hand.
Yeah, and in reality, all that I could see anything being in his favor is there may be some possible mitigating circumstance which actually that hurts the defense to cut it out. So I don't know what he said, but I don't really think it's essential in this case because a lot of times now, especially, witness identification and confessions are not a big part of proving beyond a reasonable doubt to a jury.
His
Most
wife
of
even
that
got
is
shot in
done
the
through
hand.
expert testimony these days.
His wife even got shot in the hand during the process. Remember when she put her hand over the
Yeah.
rifle? So he's all everything. He ain't got no chance in hell.
No, I don't know. I don't know if Iowa has the death penalty, but I'll look it
How
up.
can you gun down three of your small children in your front yard? And I don't care how mad I am with my spouse, or if I wanted a divorce, or I wanted out. There's or she was cheating, or whatever the case may have been. There's no way in hell I could gun down my three children that is innocent and hasn't done nothing. I don't even know what in his he he's got to be crazy because who in their right mind would have shot their three boys in their front yard?
And now
I
he's
mean,
in. And now, because I just looked it up, Ohio is a death penalty state. I thought they were, but he is. But they are. So he really didn't do himself any favor. I mean, if you catch somebody cheating, divorce your spouse.
yeah, don't take it out on
And
the kids.
even if even if your spouse would get more custody than you, sometimes, like the reason for the divorce being the cheating, they will penalize her by not providing as much monetary, like child support. But
Yeah, the
it
children
doesn't sound
are.
like he even cared about his own kids. And like when they're that little, how do you not care?
Yeah,
I mean, I can understand like parents getting in fights with teenagers and stuff, but killing a teenager, even no, I don't even get that.
I'm surprised he didn't kill his stepdaughter too before she got away. But I guess he's just worried about his three sons, his three boys. That's
I don't
crazy.
know. That's just, I don't understand it. I don't understand the thinking.
Betty, I hadn't talked to her in a couple of days. I know her daughter was sick a couple of days ago, and I tried to call her, but she didn't answer. But
If she's got a sick child, she might be taking a break from
yeah, she's probably
YouTube.
busy right now. And I seen her on YouTube earlier today on Amber's chat. I seen her in there, but I
But
hadn't
that
talked to
could,
her.
I mean, her kid could have been sleeping too.
Yeah, she's out of school on spring break this week, and but she's been sick the past couple of days, so she might be feeling better today. Hopefully, I'll try to call her again tonight and see how she's doing. But I appreciate you asking about her, Betty. And Broken, she's doing okay too. She supposedly had a allergic reaction to something the other night, and her mouth and everything started swelling, and her head and everything. I think that's what she said. Her head was swelling too, her face or something. I don't know. Uh, but she's doing better. She ain't sick or nothing today. So
Yeah,
he
I
was
know the death
definitely
penalty is suspended
getting
in a
into it
lot
lately.
of states.
Highly correct.
I
Drugs.
don't
Yeah,
know.
she's feeling better. Hey, Nikki X, how are you
Hey,
doing,
Nikki X.
sweetheart? It's good to see you.
And then MKB and I have been talking about. We're moving on to the next case that we were trying to cover, and that was Chad Daybell. I'm guessing most people know who he is, but he I can do a background on it on the case if anybody doesn't know who Chad Daybell is, but otherwise I can just go with the updates. And so I could do whatever people want.
Just do whatever you want to do.
Well, I could do like a brief summary. Like Chad Daybell he was living in where they were living in Springville, Idaho. With he had a wife, um, Tammy, and he was an author. And well, he had a publishing business, and he was an author, and he wrote dozens of books, and a lot of them were of like apocalyptic and end time stuff, and it
I didn't know
and
he wrote books.
yeah, he had a publishing company, Spring Creek Book Company, and he actually had a business partner, which I didn't know that part, who was a graphic artist and manager, but they only know the first name of this person, and I think it's probably safe. At first, he was publishing like fiction and nonfiction books to give people in the LDS church or the Mormon church, they prefer to be called LDS,
There's
book
Pakistan.
something to read. But then all of a sudden he started saying he had two near death experiences, and that they allowed him to receive supernatural visions, and that he claimed that all of his books are true, and because of his near death experiences, there was a torn veil which allows information to be downloaded to his brain. Don't ask me how. I don't know. From the other side, and that the scenes that he is shown are real events that will happen in the future. And he went to Brigham Young University and graduated with a journalism degree. Um, like on and off all of his life, he seemed to either work as a cemetery sexton or a gravedigger. And if you don't know, a cemetery sexton is like the person who's in charge of a cemetery. I didn't know there was such a thing, but they manage cemeteries. It makes sense. Just didn't know there's a fancy name for it. And then, like, towards the end of the 2000s, they ended up in financial trouble. They had 5 kids, and when and the way that Chad salvaged his publishing company was through writing about the second coming of Christ and finding the people, with air quotes, that wanted to know about that. And there were like multiple other authors that were published under his company, and one of them, like the most notable one, was Julie Rowe. She was an End of Days clairvoyant. And then another author who worked with him, Susan Freeman, she said that like his religious views like became extremely radical during the 2010s, and they became much less focused on the LDS teachings, and that she really thought that his teaching on the apocalypse was becoming extremely, extremely dangerous. And in 2015, Chad had claimed that he heard a voice I don't know, I'm guessing from God, telling him that they needed to move to Rexburg. So the whole entire family moved to Rexburg, Idaho from Springville. And Chad and Lori officially met for the first time. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow officially met for the first time in 2018
Landon
at
wants to say
a
hi.
preparing the event. Huh?
Landon wants to say hi for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Say hi.
Hi.
He
He's so
said, "Can I
cute.
come here? Said, can I say hi?" I said, "I guess."
You can say hi. That's not a big deal. And then Chad, at the Preparing the People event, told Lori that in previous lifetimes they had been married 7 different times. Don't know how that works. And after that event is when Lori and Chad started communicating more. She had already, before the event, been reading his books and stuff. And then eventually Lori moves to Lori. Well, I mean, Lori getting involved with Chad Daybell very much worried Charles Vallow, and then Charles Vallow comes up dead, and shortly after that, Lori Vallow moves with her 3 children to Rexburg, Idaho, and her brother Alex Cox moves close to where she lived.
Her brother came up dead,
Yes, her brother has come up dead.
but they
I'm
didn't
going
figure.
through the timeline.
They don't know what happened to him.
And then they don't know. They think they just said cardiovascular failure.
Um,
But on October 19th, wife Tammy Daybell has died, but then now there's questions around her death, and they are now, like, Lori Vallow has already been found guilty of the death of and conspiracy to commit murder Lori Vallow has been found guilty of conspiracy to commit murder for Tammy Daybell. And around that time, I think it was September, her children were the grandparents, Larry Wilcox, and can't remember her name right now, but my mind is slipping because I've been thinking about this all day.
mm-hmm.
They called in like a missing persons on JJ because they were JJ's biological grandparents. And like they were looking and looking and looking for both the kids, and like Lori would tell them, "Oh, the kids are with a cousin in Arizona." Turned up, they weren't there. It was just like looking for the kids everywhere, wherever Lori would tell them. And then they didn't know, and then Lori went missing after there was a warrant for her. And it turns out that 2 weeks after Tammy Daybell died, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell were married in it's in my answer. They were married in Hawaii, and I think it was Hawaii, and they were brought back to Idaho to face their charges, and the reason that this has been going on for so long, like Tammy Daybell died in 2019, and Lori Vallow's trial was just last year, but Lori Vallow was playing. They were trying to try the two at the same time. They didn't want to separate the two and try them separately. And then so Lori Vallow kept saying that she was insane, so they kept sending her to the state hospital, saying she was brought back to sanity, having to send her back to the state hospital. It was a back and forth game. And then once she was back and had attorneys ready to go and everything, it turned out that the prosecution hadn't turned something over to her attorneys in time, which took the death penalty off the table for her, but it is still on the table for Chad Daybell. And that was one argument that his attorneys made that was not successful. His attorney John Pryor also has recently asked to leave the case, and the judge told him no because it would take too long to get a new attorney ready. And the reason the case was ultimately severed was because at the point where Lori Vallow was finally found competent to stand trial and there was no more debate, was when she requested her right to speedy trial and he waived. So that's why his trial is now scheduled to finally begin 4.5 years later, or 3.5, something like that. But it was in 2019, so yeah, 3.5 years later.
Wow, it's been that long. It's been that long, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a long time. And that's not normal. But Chad Daybell his trial starts on April 1st. That's the first day. It's jury selection that day, which can be very interesting on who the attorneys decide to leave in, who they decide to strike, what attorneys for the other side they don't want. I find jury selection interesting. Most people find it boring.
Yeah.
But it's a very tactical game with jury selection because you're trying to find the people who you believe will see the evidence the way you want them to see it.
Yeah. Hey, Pocket, Broken is doing okay. She just had an allergic reaction to something she ate or something she did. I don't know what she did, but she got some kind of allergic reaction the other night, and her tongue swelled up, and her head and everything swelled up, and she went to the emergency room. They gave her something and sent her back home. So she's fine.
And then I don't know if anybody wanted to, but the judge had the trial for Tammy Daybell was not live streamed at all, and you could not even watch or listen to it until after the day was over, which was a little weird. But the charges that Chad Daybell is facing, he has 3 counts of conspiracy to commit murder, one for Tammy Daybell, one for Tylee Ryan, and one for JJ Vallow. And he also has 3 counts of first-degree murder, one for Tammy Daybell, one for Tylee Ryan, and one for JJ Vallow. And the reason that I keep saying the names of the victims is because they're the ones who matter here. They're the ones who we want justice for.
Yep.
And I remember after the guilty verdict for Lori Vallow Daybell, whatever you want to call her. I remember Larry and Kay Wilcox standing in front of that courthouse saying, 2 more to go. We got Chad Daybell, and then we got Lori Vallow in Arizona. So, the court has agreed to allow live streaming from the courthouse. And we had talked about possibly streaming the parts of the trial when we're available, and I don't know if anyone would want that. I don't know. I would have to figure out where we would stream from. It would probably be the court website, and we'd have to figure out what we needed to do. But it's an option. Or if you just want updates, we can do that. Because I like watching trials. I talk to MKB about them all the time when I'm watching them. And all of the charges, both the conspiracy to commit murder and the first degree murder, carry I know the conspiracy to commit murder, the maximum sentence is life in prison. I don't know if that's the minimum. I don't think so. But I know that first degree murder, the maximum sentence is the death penalty. And for those not inside the United States, there is more than one phase to a trial. First of all, it's going to be more difficult to find a jury. The jury is not in the county that it occurred in. They have moved the trial to Ada County, which is Boise. So the judge agreed that he wouldn't get a fair trial there. So it's now in Boise. And
Ooh, I like to walk down that bridge, Mark. The Delphi Case Bridge. The Delphi Bridge. That's kind of spooky bridge there. I'd be afraid I'd fall off.
That'd be cool to see that.
That'd be cool to see, but I don't know if I'd really want to walk across that old raggedy bridge. But they're redoing it, ain't they? I think is what somebody had said.
And so, like, if anybody wants, we could either try to stream it, or we could just do, like, a recap.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to you guys. I don't No, we could try to stream it. We've never tried that, but we were talking about it. And
I think they did something. Yeah, I think they did something to the bridge too. The last I heard.
probably it's been a while.
Yeah. But we could talk about it, what we want to do on the, with the Chad Daybell case coming up. We got plenty of time to discuss
Yeah.
and
And
decide what
Betty says she likes to she watches live coverage, so
Okay.
I mean, we can decide, but I can look into that. Otherwise, we can do like more of a we can maybe do more often during the week and do more maybe shorter lives just discussing what happened in court that day. I don't know about MKB's schedule, but
Mine is open.
we could possibly do whatever people would like.
In Nashville, Missouri, man, what was his
They
name?
found
Ryan.
somebody else. It wasn't him. Pakistan says that life size or bite size info would be easier, so maybe just
Yeah, several long
short
live.
streams every day.
Yeah,
We could even go live for like 15, 20 minutes.
yeah,
And then people would get like a short snippet and then they would know what happened that day. Yeah, the Daybell case is a mess. But just discussing what happened in trial each day would be enough. And some days there's going to be more, and some days there would be less to talk about.
yeah,
But that trial's going to be interesting. I mean, Lori's was interesting enough.
yeah. I
The
think so too.
verdict, oh, those victim impact statements during Lori Vallow, that was heartbreaking. Because they did stream that.
Mm,
And I do like when trials are live streamed. Because you get to see the whole process. From jury selection to opening statements to you get to hear how the attorneys word the questions, and you get to see what the jury sees. And then it's interesting to see if your verdict is the same as the jury's. I don't know, I find that interesting.
mm. Well,
So,
hey, 71.
871. So I'm really looking forward to the Daybell trial, especially because that will kind of put in motion also the cases that Lori Vallow is facing in Maricopa County. Although I'm not sure I want what happens in Maricopa County to happen super fast because the women's facility in Maricopa County for people who are high profile is not the greatest. There were if anybody is interested, for Thursday I could probably find a video about what the living conditions are like for women who are high profile in Maricopa County, because I know they did videos about that when Jodi Arias was on trial.
We don't need you as a judge, Pakistan. Everybody be going to prison. Find
No,
everybody guilty.
well, when you're a juror, what you're looking at is did it's not like, oh, is this person guilty? It's whether or not the prosecution proved their case beyond a reasonable doubt. And I just find it fascinating what juries do. Because sometimes they'll come back with a jury, you're like, now how did they get to that verdict? I know the first one that I watched, the first trial that I watched, that I was like, say what? I was like, how'd they come to that conclusion? Was the Casey Anthony
Yeah.
case.
Like I said, I'm surprised that O.J. Simpson got off and that mother would unalive her baby. Forgot their names. Head is pounding. Uh, the mother would unalive her baby. I don't know. I don't know which
Casey
one.
Anthony Pakistan?
Oh, they got off too. Yeah. If the suspect is cute, I might not vote not guilty. Oh Lord, Nikki, we don't need you up there either. You are pocket sand.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, there's a lot going on in LA at the time of the OJ Simpson trial, and then they made a huge deal with the stupid glove, and yeah.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
anything else y'all got tonight going on? Anything going
Or
on
any
in the
other
community?
cases that anyone's looking at. I haven't seen anything new in the Sarah Boone. I'm looking. There's nothing because she's not cooperating. Big shock. The Doerman trial should be interesting, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be good too. Which we already know what happened, and it's pretty. It's I mean, you know everything that happened basically, and it's
Right,
gonna get
but
it's gonna.
the thing is can the prosecution prove it without a? I mean, and sometimes cases are slam shut. Like, there's no way that they're not gonna prove it. Like Daryl Brooks, for example, the Christmas parade massacre. Drove down a Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. They had him on video doing it and tried to say it wasn't him. Oh, that trial is crazy. I mean, because he fired his attorneys, he represented himself, and she tried, that judge.
Oh,
Oh,
I remember that.
she had the patience of a saint.
Dude, he was
Whew.
something else.
I mean, he was a mess. I mean, he was like building forts in the next door courtroom after he got kicked out of the courtroom. Um, he was able to see and hear everything, but yep, one day he was undressing in the other courtroom. It was, whew. I don't know how she had the patience to deal with him. It was like having a 40-year-old 3-year-old.
Mm. The Rodney King case was just as horrible.
Yes, Nikki, that is true. Yeah, I
Oh,
like Judge Drew.
my phone is ding, 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 ding.
You're popular tonight. So, any cases anyone wants us to look into for Thursday? Or anything current that we could look into? Talk is sad.
He would have liked to see Anna Nicole Smith as a judge. Trim spot, baby. Y'all got any other cases that y'all know of that y'all want us to look at? Yes, that guy that's still missing, who they found his wallet. I forgot his name. His name is Ryan, ain't it?
I think so.
Ryan something.
I've been so deep in Chad
Yeah,
Daybell.
they found his ID or his credit card. He look into how Mama had a $650 electric bill. That's a crime itself, ain't it, Mark?
Say what?
That's a low down dirty crime right there. Cheated me out of $650 in 1 month for a freaking electric bill. That is Riley
What,
strange.
you did?
Yeah, I did.
When?
It was when we had that cold front. Right after Christmas. It wasn't during Christmas. It was January, I think.
That's
Six.
is your heat electric?
Yep.
Oh.
Everything's electric. I don't run off gas. Riley Strain is that boy's name. Okay.
Ouch.
I don't know why I was thinking Ryan. Did I say Ryan? Didn't I? Riley. I knew it was something.
Really, Pocket Sand. Do you have neighbors that are close, MKB?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gas
Gas
heat.
is much cheaper, which I don't have gas though.
Natural gas is much cheaper for heating. That's what we use up here. You probably don't use as much heating, do you, down there?
Mm-mm.
Although we do. Here we keep our temperature at like 65 in the winter.
We give you some canned beans, and you got enough gas for the days. Mm-hmm. Well, I got something on my fingernail. It's like
No, Mark, that won't work because she's got electric heat.
mm-hmm. Good night, Betty. Thank you for coming
Hi,
by.
Betty.
I appreciate you, woman. Woman.
So I'll be like following. I look at like different law and crime and other websites, so I'll just see what I can find for Thursday.
Yeah, we had to find something for Thursday, y'all.
And MKB knows I find some weird off the wall stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, what about this? She's like, what is this?
Well, I guess we can get off here since we're through and everything.
Yeah. So thanks for coming, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for coming, everyone.
I know it's like not the topic everyone really loves so much as true crime, but hopefully and slowly, if we keep going live steadily on Tuesdays and Thursdays, people start finding us. So
Yeah.
we just gotta keep doing it and keep being steady.
Yeah. Y'all stick with us. We need all that we can get. Well, y'all have a good night.
We'll see everyone on Thursday.
Yeah, for True Crime Thursdays. We might play a game or something tomorrow night. I had to see what we can figure out for tomorrow night. We might play some kind of games tomorrow, Mark. So I'll try to do that tomorrow. Good night, y'all.
Good night, everyone.